I'm Frances Emery, and I make Scraptures. They're small art quilts, pictures made from fabric scraps. I often get my inspiration from my photos, such as these of Cosmos in our meadow last summer. I want the subject to be interesting and beautiful, but most important, it must be possible to portray with tiny scraps of fabric. I begin by building a quilt sandwich, backing, batting, adding the top fabric last, sometimes using fabric scraps for that too. See how I made up the green foreground, cutting a curve through the short green piece, then filling the gap with curving coordinating pieces. I cut all my fabric pieces in curves. They blend together so much better than straight lines. Small, sharp sewing scissors are an essential tool. I keep adding more pieces to both foreground and sky. You see small curls of thread appearing too? Those are the loose threads, which we usually discard, from the cut edges of fabric. But they make lovely, unusual patterns that often complement and soften the design. Cotton fabric scraps are the best, because cotton pieces actually cling together very well. I use no adhesive or fusing. The scraps just lie where I set them on the emerging picture until they are stipple stitched down. You'll see this later. I layer more pieces everywhere, filling in, adding texture, shading, creating a 3D impression. The more fabric pieces, the better. Multicolored fabric works best. I'm merely using my photo as a rough guide, allowing the emerging scene itself to direct me. I often change my mind too. Perhaps the spirit of the Scrapture is saying, put that piece here, not there. As you watch a flower being assembled on the right, you might notice that a piece on the left has flown away. Then an entire flower jumps to a new position. Because nothing is fused down, I can do this. I can rearrange entire pieces or groupings. A good set of tweezers is another essential tool. After getting the basic structure of the major elements in place, background, flower arrangement, and so on, I continue filling in the bare spots with smaller details, adding depth and interest to my fabric picture, all from scraps. You can see why I call the result Scraptures. My workspace is lit artificially, but you still can notice the effect of the daylight changing color through the day. Sometimes I forgot to turn the lights on. Once, the sunshine seems to pass too quickly across my workspace, whereas that actually took a long time. The action just appears to move so fast because it's in a time-lapse video, which is showing the action about 150 times faster than the camera shutter actually clicked. Finally, when the Scrapture tells me, yes, this feels right, I cut a piece of soluble stabilizer to size, carefully lay it on top, pin it together at the corners, and carry it to my sewing machine. Then I have a blast, covering the entire piece with this very close free motion stipple quilting. There is no pattern to the quilting. I do it entirely freehand, moving around in a steady rhythm at medium speed, paying attention as much as I can to the little pieces, which I can still see through the fibers of the stabilizer. I try to get at least a couple of stitches into each piece, because this quilting is all that holds my picture together. When it is done, I wash the finished Scrapture well under lukewarm water to remove the stabilizer. That is the most exciting moment. As the stabilizer melts away under the water, the picture reveals itself. The close stipple quilting has blended all the individual fabric scraps into one lovely picture. All that remains is to press out the water in a clean towel, spread the Scrapture out to dry, square it up, and finally trim and bind it. Scraptures have almost taken over my quilting life. They are so much fun to do. Okay, now you try it. There. It's done.